Good afternoon. My name is Adam McLeod. Today I'll be discussing capital punishment. I'm going to talk about the issue, the relevant data and statistics, other relevant research, and current practices and policies in the criminal justice field. First, I'm going to talk about the issue. Capital punishment has been and always will be an issue in the American criminal justice system. This topic is possibly the most controversial topic in the criminal justice field. Different people have their own opinion, while many agree with this process and many disagree. One of the biggest issues of the death penalty is simply the cost of it. Researchers say that life without parole may be cheaper than doing the death penalty. Another big issue with this process is wrongful convictions that have happened many times in the past. Very interesting, but some research suggests that the death penalty increases the number of homicides throughout a brutalization effect. There is a major issue with juveniles and the death penalty as well. The United States Supreme Court ruled that the death penalty for those who had committed their crimes at the age of under 18 was cruel and unusual punishment and hence bared by the Constitution. Fairness is considered to be very important in this process as well. Death penalty opponents argue that capital punishment in the U.S. is applied arbitrarily and unfairly, particularly in regards to race and inadequate defense for poor people. Researchers say race is a big issue as well with the death penalty. A number of studies indicate that race or ethnic origin of defendants and or victims have an impact on whether the death penalty is sought. Mentally retarded and insane have ways around the death penalty as well. And some states forbid it against these types of people and is unconstitutional as well. Also, another big issue about this is religion. Many religions are against the death penalty. Now I will be discussing some data and statistics on the death penalty. Today in the United States, there are currently 35 states that have the death penalty and that is used. There has been a total number of 1,226 executions here in the United States since the year 1976. Since the year 2000, there have only been 38 executions here in the United States of America. The most interesting statistic is there has been 130 offenders that have been released from death penalty due to evidence that they were innocent of the crime that they were convicted of. The average cost of the death penalty here in the United States is roughly about $2.4 million for one person. 65% of the people in the U.S. support this process of the death penalty. Now I'm going to talk about a little about the race of defendants executed. White people or Caucasians are 56%, blacks 35%, Hispanics 7%, and other 2%. The number one way of execution was legal injection and was done in a majority of the cases where the death penalty was imposed. Electrocutions were also used as well, and 157 of those people who were on death row were electrocuted to death. Since 1976, the year with the most executions here in the United States was in 1999. There were 98 people who were executed to death. Executions were very popular here in the South, for counting over 1,000 executions. Texas and Virginia combined for 570 executions. The Midwest counted for 143, while the West counted for 69, and the Northeast only had 4 executions done over the years. Now I will discuss some relevant research about this process. In a 4-part series on the conduct of prosecutors in capital cases, the Arizona Republic examined allegations by appellate attorneys that prosecutorial misconduct occurred in nearly half of the state's capital cases since the year 2002. The South, which carries the most executions of any region, again had the highest murder rate in this past year of 2012. More than 140 nations worldwide have abandoned capital punishment in law or in practice. The United States remains in the same company as Iraq, Iran, and China, is one of the major advocates and users of capital punishment. The United States ranked 5th for the highest number of execution in the whole world. Here in the United States, Texas has had the highest number of executions. I thought another interesting fact was that only 13 women have been executed since the year 2006. Death penalty cases tend to take a very long time and is a long process. Researchers have said that these cases take 3 to 5 times longer than a typical murder case. Scientific studies have consistently failed to demonstrate these executions deter people from committing crime any more than long prison sentences. Moreover, states without the death penalty have much lower murder rates. Although isolated passages of religious scripture have been quoted in support of the death penalty, almost all religious groups in the United States regard executions as immoral. Now I will change subjects and talk about some practices and policies of the death penalty. While many states use different forms of execution like gas or electrocuting, most of the states now use the method of legal injection because of its humane nature. The death penalty in the United States is used almost exclusively for the crime of murder, although state and federal statutes contain various capital crimes other than those involving the death of the victim. Only 2 people have been on death row for a non-murder offense: Patrick Kennedy and Richard Davis in the state of Louisiana, when the U.S. Supreme Court addressed this issue in 2008. All executions since the year 1976 for murder or conspiracy to commit murder, although other crimes are eligible for the death penalty depending on what state you're in. Different states have different laws on this. Although no one is on death row for the following crimes, capital offenses exist in state law for various other crimes, such as treason, which can take place in Arkansas, California, Colorado, Georgia, Illinois, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, and Washington. Aggravated kidnapping in Colorado, Idaho, Illinois, Missouri, and Montana. Drug trafficking in Florida and Missouri. Aircraft jacking in Georgia and Missouri. Placing a bomb near a bus terminal, Missouri. Aggravated assault by incarcerated, persistent felons, or murders in Montana. That is all I have today. Thank you.